All right, Sam, we'll have you start us off when you're ready.
Hi, Zach. Thanks for taking the time today.
Yeah,
Uh,
sorry I'm not Gio, everyone. I was told about this a couple months ago.
no, it's great to talk with you. I would just love to hear your thoughts on just recovering after the match last weekend, how the team is feeling, having, a normal week heading into the game on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, LAFC was definitely a challenging match. They threw a lot at us at different times in the game, and it's you always have to look at the positives and the negatives so you can get better each game leading up to the next week. But I thought we ended the game well. I thought if we had a couple more minutes, we could have stolen a point from LAFC, and obviously their emotions were really high, getting their rings, getting their trophy, hanging their banner. Um, but going into this week, we've looked at a bunch of video on St. Louis. We kind of know how they are a high pressing team, how they try to, kind of adopt the Red Bulls style kind of play on just playing really direct and winning the second balls and just going really right at you.
Sam, go ahead.
Thanks. Yeah, continuing off of that, Zach, like what specifically are you seeing that St. Louis has done well in their first two games? And what are some of the areas that maybe you and Gio and the team are talking about trying to attack or trying to exploit on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I watched back both of Charlotte's games yesterday against Austin and Charlotte, and I mean, as you can see, two of their, I mean, goals went straight from a opposing player right back to them, and I think that's kind of just their philosophy of always trying to high press, and the center backs and that there's those different scenarios, they're worried. They know that as soon as they get the ball, there's someone coming from behind, or maybe that two players will randomly come at you with high intensity. So it kind of just, flusters the center back under pressure. And at the end of the day, they made an error that turned into the two goals, I guess. But yeah, that's just kind of their game plan. High press, swarm, close down the middle. So we just have to be extra clean on the ball. We can't afford to give the ball away in the middle, in the back, in the build-up, and just capitalize on our opportunities.
Paul, do you have any questions for Zach?
Yeah, Zach, just talk about your own development and comfort level at this point in the season.
Yeah, obviously it was tough losing Bill, one of my best friends here at the Timbers, but I thought, I had a good preseason. I gelled well with, the group, like what preseason's for. Obviously going into preseason, I wasn't looked at as the starter when Bill was here, but once he left, it was kind of, you know, stepping into that role to play next to Dario at the moment. And, in terms of my development, I've just kind of tried to take a more leadership approach of the back line with Claudio next to me on the left, Dario and Juan Mosquera. Um, but it's more so for me, and I feel like as center backs, it's winning your individual battles, how you can keep the ball out of the net, and just trying to give the forwards the best opportunity to score and win the game.
Talk a bit about Juan and his what he's brought, because obviously he's been involved in all three goals, and just what does he add to the team?
Yeah, I mean he's an athlete at only 19 years old. He's one of the fastest players on the team. He's one of the most dangerous in those wide areas on the team, and he just kind of gives us a different look compared to other players in years past or who we have now. And he's one of those players who's good at 1v1 defending, but he's proven these last two games that he's very dangerous going forward, and he causes a lot of problems for the opposition's winger and their outside backs and their center backs by always putting pressure of kind of dribbling into those winger spaces, giving our winger more options of running in behind or going inside, and he's just done very well going forward.
Last one for me. Talk about defending corners, because you did that so well in week one and then struggled a bit at times last week. What's the key? What are you focusing on in that part of the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think teams, LAFC specifically, looked at, I mean, what every team does. You look at areas where teams struggle that you're playing against. I think they highlighted a spot. Kellen Acosta is, a national team World Cup player, and he whips in a very dangerous ball. And more so this week, and moving forward, we're just going to try to tighten our man marking in certain areas, not to let people get free runs into the box. And that's something we've worked on this week. Try to set up differently to protect the that front side of the post that caused us a lot of problems in LA.
Yeah. Thanks.
Do we have any last questions for Zac? Sam, go ahead.
Thanks. One last question, Zac. Like you said, ended the game last weekend, a little bit more positively, managed to get 2 goals back. You did that with what looked to be kind of like a back 3, back 5 set. Has that been something that you've been continuing to train this week with having to be ready to go? Is that a look that Gio has talked to y'all about maybe bringing out on Saturday? Yeah, love to hear about that.
Yeah, I mean, we trained for both, a 4-back, a 3-back. I think in that LA game, it definitely gives us a different look. And it, when you switch to a different formation mid-game, it kind of forces the opposition to try to adjust. And I don't think LAFC was able to adjust to, our 3-back, and it just gives them a different look. And, they trained all week for the 4-back that they assumed we were going to play against, or that they were going to play against for 90 minutes. And we gave them a different look, I think the 58th minute is when we made that change. But yeah, like I said, we train both, and it's ultimately, up to Gio what he decides to go with this weekend.
All right, I think we'll wrap it there. Thank you, everyone. And again, apologies about Gio, but if you missed it, if you want to speak with him before the match, you're welcome to come out to the Timbers training facility tomorrow after training around 12:30. Thank you. Bye. Thank you.